Assalamu alaikum. This is the Principles of Microeconomics course directed to first year. Let's now solve some applications relating to our next topic, which is the supply.
First, state whether the following sentences are true or false. Number 1. The technological improvement would increase the quantity supplied of that good. This sentence is false. Why? Because the technological improvements would increase the supply of the good, not the quantity supplied. Any advancing in technology would decrease the cost of producing the goods, and this cause the supply of the product to increase. Graphically, this cause the supply curve for the product to shift rightward. So the correction of this sentence is that the technological improvements would increase the supply of the goods. Number 2. When quantity supplied increases in response to a rise in the price level, the supply curve shifts to the right. This sentence is false because when the price of any good it changes, the quantity supplied would change in the same direction, but the supply curve will not shift either to the right or to the left. We will move along the same supply curve from one point to another point. So the correction of this sentence is that when quantity supplied increases in response to a rise in the price level, the quantity supplied would increase and we are moving from one point to another point along the same supply curve, not shifts in the supply curve. Number 3. An increase in the cost of resources used to produce X would decrease the supply of X. This sentence is true. When the cost of resources increases, it means that the cost of production increases and the producer will not have the incentive to produce more, so he will decide to decrease the supply of the product. His production would be decreased, and this is represented graphically by shifting the whole supply curve up to the left. So an increase in the cost of resources used to produce X would decrease the supply of X. Number 4. A rise in the wages of workers employed to produce X would cause leftward shift in the supply curve. Definitely this sentence is true, because when the wages increases, it means that the cost of producing X would increase and the producer will not have the incentive to produce more. This causes the supply curve for the product to shift leftward, which means that the supply for the product would decrease, a result of increasing in the wages of the workers. Number 5. A rise in the subsidies would cause rightward shift in the supply curve. This sentence is true. We know that we have a positive relationship between the subsidies that are provided by the government and the amount of the supply of the product. When the amount of subsidies that are provided by the government increases, this would affect the supply of the product, and graphically it would shift the supply curve to the right from S0 to S1. We call this a change in the supply. Number 6, a decrease in the taxes would decrease the quantity supplied of a given good. This sentence is false. We know that there is a negative relationship between the taxes that is imposed on a certain economic activity and the supply for the product. So, when the tax rate that is imposed on production is lower, this would increase the supply for the product, and the whole supply curve in that case would shift rightward. So the correction of this sentence is that a decrease in the taxes would increase the supply for a given good. Number 7, a change in the quantity supplied is caused only by changes in the price of the good. Other things hold constant. This sentence is true. We know that there is a positive relationship between the price of the product and the quantity supplied of that product. This is called supply law. So when the price of the product increased, for example, from £2 to £4, and it further increased to £7, this gives the producer more incentive to produce more. Thereby, the quantity supplied would increase from 10 units to 15 units and further to 20 units. Here we are moving from point A to point B to point C along the same supply curve, and this is called the change in the quantity supplied, which is caused only by changes in the price of the goods. Number 8, a decrease in the wages of the workers employed to produce X would cause the quantity supplied of a certain good to increase. This sentence is false because we know that the only factor that could affect the quantity supplied of a certain good is the price of the product, while the other factors that affect the supply are wages or the cost of production, of factors of production, like wages, the price of raw material, and the other factors, which is technology, we have subsidies, taxes. All other factors affect the supply of the product, and graphically it would affect the whole supply curve. So, a decrease in the wages of the workers employed to produce X would cause the supply of the product to increase. This could be represented graphically by rightward shift in the supply curve from S0 to S1.